Okay, fifth grade, we are going to be focusing on the color wheel for our next project. So everybody's going to get one of these worksheets, and I want you to write your first name, last name, and room number at the top. And just do that with a pencil. I'm going to do everything in Sharpie so that you can see it really well in the video. And I'm going to give you guys a color wheel to have next to this. We are going to start off labeling all of the circles. So you can see that we already have 3 of them labeled, right? We have red, yellow, and blue labeled. And who knows what those 3 colors are? Okay, if you were thinking the primary colors, you would be correct. So the primary colors are super important because when you mix them, they make all of the other colors on the color wheel. So you only need red, yellow, and blue to make every other color that you see here. So that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be coloring this with only red, yellow, and blue. We're gonna use watercolor pencils. And we're also going to be doing another project with paint using only the 3 primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, to make all the other colors. Okay, so the color wheel is really cool. First of all, it's beautiful, right? But also you can read it to help you remember how to mix colors if you forget. So the order of the colors is extremely important. It only makes sense if the colors are in the correct order. So you want to look at 2 primary colors that are next to each other. So for example, let's start with yellow and red. And when you mix yellow and red equally, you get the color orange. And look, orange is right in between yellow and red. So that's what I mean by reading the color wheel. So you're looking at the 2 colors, the 2 primary colors on either side of the secondary colors, which are the other ones in these little squares here. And you can see that when those 2 come together equally, you're going to get that secondary color in the middle. So now I'm going to go over on my paper and I'm looking in between red and yellow, and right in between there, I'm going to write orange. All right, so let's do the other 2 secondary colors. So I'm gonna go in between yellow and blue, and I want you guys to be following along on your color wheel. Put your pointer finger on yellow, put your pointer finger on blue, and look what you get. If you mix those 2 together equally, you get the color green. So in between yellow and blue on here, find that big circle in between, and I want you to write green there. Let's do the same thing with red and blue at the bottom. So we have red, we have blue, and if you mix them together equally, you get the color violet or purple, whichever one you want to call it. So red and blue on my blank color wheel, right in the middle, I'm gonna write violet. All right, so those are our secondary colors. Now we need to add in our intermediate colors, and those are the ones in all these little circles. So I'm gonna start right here next to red and orange. So an intermediate color is made up of a primary and a secondary color. So if you mix red and orange together, you get this color right here called red-orange. Now, the intermediate colors, the names of them, the primary color always comes first. So it would never be called orange-red. It's always going to be red-orange because, like I said, the primary color always comes first. I forgot to mention this. That word primary, it means first. I want you to write that down below on your paper. Primary means first. You have to start with those colors first to make all of the other colors, right? Okay, so we have, and then same thing with the intermediate colors. When you name them, the primary comes first, and the secondary color comes second, right? Secondary means second. All right, so in between red and orange, we have red-orange. And so I'm gonna put that over here between red and orange on my color wheel. I'm just gonna write RO for red-orange. Okay, let's go around the color wheel. If you get lost, just look on your color wheel that you have in front of you. Here we have orange and yellow. In between orange and yellow is yellow-orange. Remember, it's yellow-orange because yellow is the primary, so it's gonna come first in the name. Okay, next up, in between yellow and green, we have yellow-green. In between blue and green, we have blue-green. In between blue and violet, we have blue, violet. And last one, in between violet and red, if you mix those two together, you get red, violet. All right, so we're gonna go back and double check and make sure that you have all of your colors written correctly in the right order. Remember, the order matters. So I'm gonna start with red. Put your pointer finger on red, and if, while I'm going through these colors, if you think you got one wrong, I want you to raise your hand and I'll come around and help you and make sure that we get all your colors correct before we move on to the next step. Okay, so just raise your hand while we're going through. Follow along. Okay, let's go. Red, red, orange, orange, yellow, orange, yellow, yellow, green, green, blue, blue, violet, violet, red, violet, back to red. All right, so your hand is up. If you think you got those wrong, no problem. We'll get them fixed up before we move on to the next step.